We're back here on Tape Don't Lie. We're going to bring in Max Browne to join the program as we get into some Travis Etienne. How you doing, Max?
What's up, Michael? How we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Look, when you look at Travis Etienne and what he brings to the table, this is a guy that averages almost 8 yards per carry. He's a guy that can score from distance at any time. He catches the ball out of the backfield exceptionally well, and he can break tackles with guys bouncing off of him. What's it mean to a team and to a quarterback? How does that help to have that guy on your roster?
Yeah, it's huge. And for all the reasons you just listed, that's why I think everyone's so surprised he's coming back, and the fact that he's proven everything. He can do it all. You talk about he's a physical runner at the point of attack. He's got elite speed in the second level. He punishes defenders. I think he's great out of the backfield in terms of the pass catching and route running and using his hands. He is the complete back. I think looking forward, he might have to improve pass blocking a little bit, but that's being nitpicky. You talk about a complete back. That's what Clemson has. That's what Clemson's going to get returning here in 2020.
Yeah, I was surprised that he came back. I expected him to go to the next level, be a first, maybe a second-day pick, but certainly someone that has the skills to go make big plays at the next level. And Clemson gets him back, which means they are going to make a run for this national championship in that 2020 season. So let's get into Etienne. Let's look at what he does well. And I really do want to focus in on how physical he is, because when you see that 7.8 yards per carry, I think a lot of people instantly think, well, he's just a home run hitter. He's like C.J. Spiller. But the reality is he is a guy that picks up those yards in a tough way, and you see him right there. Darrell Henderson, your all-time leader over the last, almost the last 20 years. But Travis Etienne right there with Melvin Gordon, who we know was a home run machine, and obviously Rashad Penny and Reggie Bush.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think one thing that's made him lethal is when you see these arm tackles go on in defenses, he's running right through those guys. I think their defenders are always sitting on their heels waiting for him to kind of make a move, react, and that's because of what he brings to the table. He can break you down and juke you, or he can run right through you. It keeps defenders guessing, and that's quite the company to be in. Anytime you're looking at Reggie Bush and Melvin Gordon, guys that have got it done at the next level, I mean, that's the company you want to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. He is up there. I mean, 7.8 is insane, and he's coming back for more to try to push that average a little bit higher. When you look at what he does, I mean, the big thing for me, first, this is game one. First quarter of the game one, they run a little counter action here, and I want people to notice how he runs over his left tackle, essentially creating a pancake block.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and this is what I love is when he gets that second level, he's gone. It's going. I think you combine the power and the speed at the point of attack, but then also the next level, like just track speed, I think is what makes him so lethal. And it's funny. I mean, Clemson's going to show up at spring ball this year, and it's going to look a lot same. I mean, they're probably planning that they were going to have to replace him. Well, not Nine's coming back, and what a weapon. But to your point, it's not just home runs. This is a home run right here, but it's breaking tackles. As we just saw right there, he's running through guys and punishing defenders.
Yeah, he is so strong in that lower half, the way that his leg drive works. He's generating this. And look, he takes a tough step here because he runs into his own guy, but it doesn't stop him. It's the same thing with defenders. Defenders are in the same position to make tackles, and he's able to run through them the way he runs through Jackson Carman right there. And then that next gear, as he's 20 yards down the field, 15 yards down the field, that next gear to run away from those linebackers that really do feel like, oh, I have a tackle here, is really good to see.
Without a doubt. And I think right here we'll see his vision as well. And we saw it in the last play of him finding the holes. Right there, that's not that big of a hole. That's a tight hole that he's running through. He's punishing linebackers. And I think that maybe is a little bit of the concern when you look about moving forward is a lot of these arm tackles that he's breaking at the college level. Does he break those at the NFL level? That's obviously getting nitpicky and being very critical. But either way, I think he's a tough get for linebackers, especially when you talk about he has Trevor Lawrence back there. He has the country's best quarterback. And so if Lawrence is priority one, and for some reason Etienne, who's ACC Offensive Player of the Year, all that stuff, he's your priority two, that's quite the combo for a Clemson offense.
Yeah, I love the balance that we get out of him as well. I think we've talked about him breaking tackles. We've talked about the speed. But the balance and recognizing that kind of that nose for the end zone here, as he gets spun around, he's still his leg drive goes from running forward to backpedaling his way, powering through what is a good hit from a good initial blow. But you see that the safety can't sustain it with that leg drive.
And Michael, he's always falling forward. It feels like defenders are always waiting to catch him rather than the other way around. I mean, you talk about right here, he gets hit on the 3-yard line. He's dragging guys, scholarship guys that they're football players too. He's dragging them to the end zone. And This is one thing. I think you talk about his build. He really has kind of maxed out what he has in a great way. And the fact that he's big, he's strong. There's no, hey, I mean, he can get bigger or more physical. That's what he brings to the table.
Yeah, he is strong. And I think as we get into more of what he does, I think we've got an opportunity to see just the grand scale of what he's able to do. This is first half numbers because we know that Clemson didn't play a lot of second halves because they were up on so many teams. But you look at him, over 1,000 yards in that first half. 1,600 yards on the season, almost 1,200 of those yards came in the first half. I think that's critical to point to what he's doing early on first downs.
Yeah, and it's so intriguing when you look at these stats because the fact he is coming back for another year, you talk about all-time record books. I mean, he's already in the Clemson record books, kind of leading the charge there. But it's quite intriguing when you kind of project forward. If he has another big year and stays healthy, what it could mean for him personally. And it's probably a big reason why he came back. You talk about being an all-time great at the college football level, knowing that the NFL is going to be there. Guys are wired differently, and that's probably a big reason why he came back.
Yeah, and again, this is one that I wanted to show. We talk about that power. You talk about what he's doing. I love how violent this is. Watch that straight arm that he gives to the linebacker to just push him down into the ground.
And the different moves as well. Excuse me. I mean, you talk about the one cut, making a guy miss right away, right at the line of scrimmage, and then the instinctive stiff arm as well. I mean, I'm sure we got a stiff arm or a spin move. You got a spin move in there a little bit right there, but that's what he kind of brings to the table is all these different moves. Sometimes, like some guys are jump cut guys. That's kind of their MO. He's kind of bringing it all to the table, and this is the perfect run to kind of showcase it.
Yeah, I mean, he slips the little arm tackle, the guy that's down there scraping shoe tops. That doesn't even worry him at all. You get that hard straight arm, and then I love this run, Max. This one in a nutshell is Etienne at his finest right here. You see the vision with the cut, shake off the leg, shake off the guy with your leg, and then drag. He walked him into the end zone, and he's still standing up. This guy could run for days.
This is beast mode. Yeah, exactly. This run's supposed to go to the right. It flows back to the left, like you said, to his vision. That's what he brings to the table. One broken tackle, two broken tackles. Then he's dragging a guy to the end zone. That's three. I mean, that is lethal. I mean, he's making three guys miss. I mean, he's a huge weapon. And I think, you talk about just once again, this 1-2 combo with Lawrence and Etienne, it's an absolute nightmare for defenses.
Yeah, it's really tough to deal with this because if you load up, if you step back and try to focus on Trevor Lawrence, now you're giving up some ground to Travis Etienne. But this is the part, and I wanted to have you on to talk about Etienne specifically because I want to know your thoughts about this in terms of effort, in terms of execution, and what it can do to a team when you're driving.
Yeah, I want to start by saying I think sometimes we're like almost looking for things to critique. I love Etienne. I think he is a complete back. But if there was one area where he can get better, it is the pass protection. I mean, you talk about he's a veteran guy in this clip. He's shooting his gun, as they say, too early. He's leaning forward. He's triggering his hands. That's not good because this is not an overly physical outside linebacker coming there. When you talk about projecting to the next level, that's not a good sign. He's got to stay patient. He's got to stay disciplined, stay back, let the defender come to him rather than leaning because you better believe as his playing career goes on, linebackers are going to use that against him if he's not disciplined with his technique.
Right, and the problem for me comes in when they take him out of the game. Because he is one, you talked about that 1-2 punch with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, and we talk about him being in the game, and you have to worry about both of those players. But watching the national semifinals, watching some tight spots, Travis Etienne not being in the game because he could not get the job done consistently in pass pro, which lowers what they're getting out of that running back spot or makes them a little bit less dangerous because you can key on him being in versus him being out. How do you, as a quarterback, when you think about this from a quarterback standpoint, if you're Trevor Lawrence right now, you've got your guy coming back, you've got your 1,600-yard rusher coming back, how do you engineer this so that he can be on the field every single down?
Yeah, I think that's what spring ball's for. I mean, that's what these off-season workouts, getting in the film room, seeing the different looks. I know for me, in my experience, that's the last thing to come for running backs. That's oftentimes why you don't see young running backs in on third down, pass pro downs, because pass protection, identifying fronts, it's hard to do. That is the last thing to come. So that's a huge reason maybe he's coming back is to develop in that area. I think it's getting the mental reps and being disciplined with his film. But that's the beauty is Etienne, he can be a 3-down back. He can be a guy, we've seen it, get it done on 1st and 2nd down, but we need him in there on 3rd down because you talk about offensively, if you get a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, where it's either run or pass, Well, number 9 in the backfield, he's the weapon. Make defensive coordinators think, and that's certainly some area he's got to develop in when it comes to pass pro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him develop in that way, because when you look at this list of guys that are likely in the NFL draft, or definitely in the NFL draft, you look at Chuba Hubbard. We've already talked about him, right? We're going to get to Najee Harris in a little bit. We've got C.J. Verdell, Boobie Whitlow from Auburn. These guys all can get the job done. Chuba Hubbard, we just showed a clip of him with a chip that absolutely devastated a defensive end. If that's who Travis Etienne is up against when it comes to draft rankings, where do you think he fits in if he can clean up that pass pro?
Yeah, to me, he's number 1. I love C.J. Verdell. I think he runs extremely hard, but he's a little undersized. He's not necessarily the biggest bulk, but I love Etienne as that top dog, and it's for all the reasons we said. He is the complete package, but the one thing in 2020 you want to see is the pass protection a little bit there. But in terms of those 5-6 guys right there, he's number 1 on my book.
Yeah, I'm a Najee Harris guy, but we're going to get to him in a little bit on the show. But Travis Etienne certainly can be up there, especially if he cleans up that pass protection. I'm looking forward to watching him. Does he get Clemson back to a national championship game?
He said it, unfinished business. He said it first. I think they do. As we know, their road is pretty clean to get there in the ACC. The 1-2 punch, as we talked about, I'd envision them to be in the playoff and then eventually the national championship as well.
Yeah, that's Max Browne. Thanks so much for joining me. We've got some unfinished business here on Tape Don't Lie as we bring C-Mart back to talk about the SEC.
Thanks, Mike.